Sit right there. He isn't coming to save you. That's what was running through my head as I stood in the middle of my own driveway, heart pounding, staring at a scene so surreal I half wondered if I was still asleep and dreaming. Let me tell you, I never expected to be the main character in a story like this. My name's Lewis Johnson, and for years, folks call me the billionaire who had everything a picture-perfect family, a house straight out of a magazine, more money than I could spend in a dozen lifetimes. But you know what I learned? Money can't buy you peace, trust, or the kind of heartbreak that only family can deliver. And it damn sure can't protect you from being blindsided by the people closest to you. This all started with a birthday. March 15, Genevieve's birthday. My fiancée, the woman who put the pieces of my life back together after my wife Latoya died, was supposed to get the surprise of her life. I've been planning for weeks, kept her in the dark, spun a story about having meetings all day so she'd think I forgot. The truth was, I had a brand new Mercedes waiting at the dealership with her name on it, vacation tickets to the Maldives tucked in my coat, dinner reservations at the kind of place you have to know a guy to even get on the wait list. But more than anything, I was ready to show her that she was my family, and she came first. I'd asked my sister Brenda to get Genevieve out of the house for a couple hours, just enough time for me to get everything in place. Now, Brenda, she was my rock after Latoya passed, the one person who always had my back. She said she'd handle it, told me not to worry. So when I pulled through the gates that afternoon, heart thumping with excitement, I thought I was about to walk into the happiest day we'd had in years. But man, was I wrong. Picture this, my 78-year-old mother, my 13-year-old daughter Selma, and Brenda standing in the yard, soaking wet, muddy water dripping for their white clothes, faces twisted with shock and humiliation. And there's Genevieve, clutching an empty bucket, staring at me with a look of pure panic. My hand shook so bad I nearly ripped the steering wheel off. I jumped out of the car, screaming, "What the hell is going on here?" Loud enough the neighbors probably heard. Genevieve stammered, said it wasn't what it looked like, but all I could see was my family standing there, drenched, and the woman I loved holding the evidence. I wish I could say I paused, took a breath, gave everyone a chance to explain. But I didn't. I was so blinded by what I saw, the tears in my mother's eyes, Selma shivering in her ruined uniform, Brenda furious that I let anger take the wheel. I demanded answers, but all I heard was noise. Brenda said Genevieve screamed at them before throwing the water. My mother looked heartbroken, and Genevieve just stood there, pleading, begging for 5 minutes to tell her side. But I couldn't listen. I sent her away, told her to get out, leave, never come back. She left the engagement ring on the coffee table and walked out of my life. That should have been the end. But life isn't that neat. Not when love and family are involved. See, I built my empire on logic and hard work, but when it came to the people I loved, I was just as blind and stubborn as anyone. I spent the next months convincing myself I'd done the right thing. Brenda and Miriam filled the house with noise, meals, activities, anything to keep me moving forward. Some of me sweet, smart, strong daughter seemed quieter, withdrawn, but I was so buried in my own misery and work that I let it slide. Whenever she tried to talk to me, there was always some interruption and urgent call, Brenda needing help in the kitchen, Miriam fussing over schedules. But the thing about kids is they see more than we think. Selma kept trying, kept getting cut off, and I kept missing it. One night, after tossing and turning, haunted by dreams of Latoya telling me to wake up and listen to our daughter, I finally got it through my thick skull that something was way off. I woke Selma up in the middle of the night and locked her door so no one could barge in. And that's when the truth hit me harder than any betrayal I'd ever felt in business. She told me everything. Brenda had set the whole thing up. She'd poured dirt and mud into a bucket of clean water behind Genevieve's back, then called us all out, me, Mom, Selma dressed in white, lining us up in just the right spot. Then she called to Genevieve to dump the water out, made it sound like she was helping with chores. And when the water splashed all over us, Brenda and Miriam started screaming, accusing Genevieve of doing it on purpose. Genevieve was horrified, apologizing, begging to explain, but by the time I pulled up, the trap had already been sprung. Why? Simple. Brenda and Miriam were terrified of losing their place in the family, of being replaced. Genevieve was everything they weren't: successful, independent, loving, and not about to let anyone control her. They saw her as a threat, so they did what people do when they're desperate to hold on to power. They lied, manipulated, and destroyed what they didn't understand. I failed everyone I loved. I didn't trust the woman who brought joy back to our lives. I let my own mother and sister turn my daughter into a silent accomplice. And I broke the one promise I made to Latoya on her deathbed: to take care of our girl, not just with money, but with my heart, my ears, and my attention. So here I am, sitting in this big, beautiful house, realizing I've been living in a prison of my own making, haunted by the memory of Genevieve's tears and the sound of my daughter's voice, finally telling me the truth. I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to make it right. Maybe Genevieve will never forgive me. Maybe Selma will always carry that hurt. Maybe my family will never be whole again. But I know this: sometimes the people who claim to love you the most are the ones who hurt you deepest, not because they hate you, but because they're terrified of being left behind. And sometimes the only way to find the truth is to shut out all the noise, listen to the people who matter most, and admit you are wrong no matter how much it hurts. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me what you have done in my shoes. Where's the line between loyalty and blindness? Have you ever lost someone because you trusted the wrong people? I need to know I'm not the only one who's made a mess this big. Let's talk about what justice really means, about forgiveness, about how you fix a family that's been torn apart by love, fear, and one impossible choice. You know what I mean?